So today we're gonna need a pillow or a cushion, some sort of small thing. If you have a towel rolled up, if you use a blanket to have around during practice, that'll be good. We'll start there. We'll use it a little bit. Hopefully it will be very nice and yummy to, we'll use that in some of our movements to really release and open the heart today. It's gonna be really interesting for me. I think I did too much chest workout yesterday. I'm feeling very tight. But this practice is designed in heart opening and also very much in releasing this heart opening. So instead of trying to like ratchet ourselves into back bends, we're going to try to move into expanding the heart space and then releasing there, and then hopefully it can open up a little bit more. When we think of like moving into uncomfortable situations, or places where we don't feel super confident or ready to experience whatever it is that we're experiencing, this resistance often comes, of course, in this kind of guarded space. Like as a defense mechanism, we want to take ourselves back to, hi, somebody needs snuggles right now. So when we're faced with uncomfortable circumstances, there's this biological response and this brain response where we want to get back to a more comfortable place, like the favorite spot that you curl up on the couch with a good book or with your very needy animal. And that's part of our survival mechanisms, but it's not the place in which we can grow. By existing in this guarded space, we're cutting ourselves off from new experiences. We're cutting ourselves off from success in new experiences. We're cutting ourselves off from connection. And when we hold so tightly inwards, we're just building up all of this tension that really we know we're so much better off if we can let that go. If we can release this space and allow ourselves to be open and to receive. And it's like, all right, world, come at me. What do you got? I'm ready, I think. Yeah. I'm taking the index finger and the thumb together. We'll begin with face brushing. Brushing outwards from the center of the forehead. And from the sides of the nose out to the temples. Brushing from the temples down to the chin. And then down the lap lines from the nose to the chin. And taking your fingertips underneath and behind your ears. And as you lift up from that point behind your ears, see if you can already start relaxing your shoulders. Letting your heart space be a little bit softer, even as you continue using the fingertips to lift up from that point in the back of your head where your skull and your spine come together. Take another big breath in. Let something relax as you exhale. And then again, big breath in. This time, release the arms down. Keep the length in your spine. Let your collarbones soften. And take a few breaths, tuning into the body and feeling the rise and fall of your heart space. Feeling an expansion in the front and in the back, and maybe even in the sides of your ribs, really letting the breath fill you up. And the letting go when you exhale. Take another deep breath in through your nose, and then big exhale through the mouth. Again, like that. For 3 ohms. And then we're gonna start to come down onto our back. This is where we're gonna use that cushion. So if you've got anything like a folded up towel, I've got a small couch cushion here that works pretty well to me. I just fold it over. So you want a little bit of height onto it. If that is weird when you get down there, if it's too much, just go ahead and unfold it. But start off with it folded over, especially if you got something really squishy. And then you're gonna come down where you set up that cushion underneath, like the middle of your ribs or the pointy spot at the back of your shoulder blades. Oh my gosh, my chest is tight today. Okay. Woo. Take your hands behind your head, interlace your fingers. You're just gonna catch your head with your hands. Now, probably with that cushion, with that lift, you may be able to drop your head back. If that's not working out, if that doesn't feel comfortable, if you're feeling like a tightness in your throat, I'm going to give yourself a little boost here by holding your elbows towards each other, and then you let your head fall back, but maybe it doesn't go all the way to the floor, or maybe just take a couple breaths and eventually it comes to the floor, and your elbows can be up or they can open. Holy. All right, I'm going to avoid my personal commentary. See if you can soften your chest space and let yourself kind of surrender into this heart opening. I like to have knees bent in this space because it's going to be a little less intense. If you're feeling super open and super frisky, you can extend those legs, but that's going to make things maybe a little tender in the low back. So just being kind and cognizant with yourself about that. And I find with anything to do with the shoulders, it seems to be a constant dialogue with my body, even after many years of having this conversation with my shoulders to say, hey, can you please relax? I still have to work on convincing that space to surrender and soften, and then give my body the time to let that change happen. And so give yourself about another 5 breaths, allowing your exhales to soften and surrender any place where you feel tight. And when you finish that next exhale, you're going to bend the knees if they weren't bent already. And then you're just going to turn yourself over to one side, catch yourself with your hands, and then come on up. And then probably you're going to feel a little bit better in your seat if you sit up on this cushion again. So we're going to come up there and then bring the soles of your feet together. And the knees out a little bit wider, and you just want to come to a place where you feel relatively comfortable. Maybe the feet are close, maybe they're a little bit further apart. You can wiggle a bit, fidget to get into that good space. When you're ready, reach your arms up, and they can be wider if your shoulders are feeling tender, or they can be up a little bit closer in. You're going to lift up from behind your ears. And then not just reaching up with your arms, can you reach your heart right up towards your fingertips? And then take the right hand over towards the right, and you're going to bend into the right elbow as much as you can while you reach up through the left arm. And if you started to rock over towards the right hip a little bit, start to reach that left hip down a little bit more. And then have that dialogue with your inner shoulder where you soften it, and then maybe lots more space. Big breath in. Big breath out. And then lift yourself back to the middle, take both arms up. Try to lift the heart up to your fingertips. Maybe there's a difference between the sides. And then dropping your left hand down, you'll bend into that elbow as you reach up through the right side, not worrying about how far you fold over. We want to go up, soften the inside of the shoulder, relax the right hip down, still breathing. One more breath. And then take your arms up again. Lift your heart up towards those fingertips. Try to stay lifted in your heart. We're going to pull the elbows out to the sides. And think of your elbows moving outwards away from your torso. This first time just being observant of how the chest feels when you try to expand it and open it here. Take a big breath in. Soften something as you exhale, release. One more time, big breath in. Exhale, release. And release the hands all the way back down behind you. Tuck them in close by your hips. Maybe you're on the fingertips and the elbows point back. And then pull the elbows back. Lift your heart up and forward a little bit more so your heart comes up towards the front of your rib cage. You can even look up a little bit. Take an inhale. Feel your heart filling up with breath. And then soften and release that space as you exhale. And if you feel that expansiveness, that big heart opening, and then release into that opening, it might feel a little bit more open. One more breath. Exhale. And then release that work, that heart opening. Take your hands forward. And I want you to just soften forward. Don't worry about how far forward you get. You want to think of this as a rest and a counter and a release from all of that good side bending and heart opening work we just did. So a little breather. If you can come forward really far and that feels good, you can come forward farther, but maybe you just kind of come down here, relax the chin and soften the belly. One more breath in. One more breath out. And start to come up. Lifting your arms up once more, and we'll come into those cactus arms again, pulling your elbows out towards the side. You might have a little bit more room, might have a little bit more lift. Inhale, lift your heart up into the front of your ribs. Exhale, find something to relax and release. Two more. Inhale, heart lifts up. Exhale, let something go. Again, breathe in. Breathe out. And then release your arms. We're going to come into child's pose. Just a quick little visit. Hips don't have to be back super far, but do try to come into a place where you are relatively relaxed. Arms can be wider if your shoulders are tender. Maybe you do a little rocking side to side in your hips. And then take another couple of breaths, resting your head down and trying to allow yourself to soften. No matter where your hips are, even if your hips are way up here, just going to give yourself a couple of breaths to be soft. And then you're going to start pushing into your hands, and I want you to curl your belly back. So you're really going to round into your spine, tucking the tailbone down instead of reaching it back. Should feel a little bit of heat in the belly. It might be a little bit harder to breathe. Make sure you bring yourself into a place where you can still breathe. You're going to have a little bit of a challenge into the core here. Take another breath in. Draw that belly back as you exhale. And then look up and start to lift yourself back up into table pose. So you might be adjusting and putting some cushion underneath the knees here. We're going to take a cat-cow that's going to be a little bit more core intensive. You're going to round back and it's going to become more like a pouncing, crouching tiger thing. So you should really feel your abdominals pulling back around your spine. Tuck that tail in. Finish your exhale. And then inhale, come up through cow pose. Exhale, round back, tuck the belly in cat. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, round it back. What you might do is come forward a little bit more, kind of like a soft up dog. So you can do that if you want to, not required if that feels tender in your back. But exhale, pull back, wrap the belly in, inhale, cow pose, or like a soft up dog. And then do that 3 more times. You could be on fingertips if your wrists are feeling tender. Really wrap that belly back. One more round through. Inhale, come forward. And then we'll come back towards a more neutral spine. And from here, walk your hands, another hand print forward, and then keep your belly wrapped up. Lower as slow as you can onto your belly. And then you're gonna wiggle maybe back a little bit further if you don't have a lot of space like I do. You're gonna take your elbows forward. It's gonna be an interesting one. I wanna bring my hands together and I wanna wiggle the elbows forward as far as I can. Placement is fairly arbitrary. The elbows are probably gonna be about shoulder width. They're about not super specific. You wanna rest your forehead down here. So you can either lengthen the back of the neck or rest your forehead on the floor. And then you're gonna push your hands towards each other. And if you need to take breaks, if that's getting a little bit too crazy in your shoulders, you just take breaks. If you are not doing this and you're watching and wondering why I thought you might need to take breaks, if you try it, you might see why I mean. You might need to take breaks. Try to bring all the action into your hands. Relax your eyebrows. Two more breaths. And then release the pressure on your hands. Widen your elbows. Make a pillow for your cheek or your forehead. Kind of hang out, maybe wiggle your pelvis a little bit back and forth. From here, take the arms back behind you. You're going to interlace your fingers. Bend your elbows so that they wrap upwards as much as you can. You might even wiggle your shoulders back behind you a little bit more. We're going to come up into Shalabhasana and practice relaxing the jaw and the heart space to maybe open the heart up a little bit more. So coming up, Shalabhasana, locust pose. Extend those arms back, reach the heart forward, legs might lift. Take an inhale, feel your heart filling up. Exhale, relax your throat, relax your heart space. One more time, big breath in. Exhale, relax that heart space. And then come on down. Rest a cheek or a chin. Maybe wiggle your hips about a little bit. We'll come up again with the bind, probably moving to releasing the bind and still working on releasing the heart space and the throat when you come up. So bringing your elbows, our hands together, elbows bent up. As you straighten the arms, reach the heart forward. Take a big inhale. Exhale, soften your throat and your heart. One more big inhale. Exhale, soften the throat and the heart. And then release your hands, but stay lifted. Inhale, reach your heart forward. Exhale, soften the throat and the heart space. And then relax yourself down. We're gonna roll over now onto our backs and just kind of scoot yourself around. Come onto your back and bring your knees into your chest. Oh. A little rock around, just releasing the lower back. From here, keep holding on to the right leg, slide the left leg out just as much as is comfortable to you, and take the right leg across the body, finding a twist. You can open up the right arm if you like, practicing releasing the shoulder and the collarbone and letting your belly soften. You should bring yourself into a place where you feel a nice stretch on the outside of this hip. One more exhale. And come out of the twist. Tuck that left leg up, slide the right leg out, and then coming into a twist on the other side. Drawing that left leg over, opening the left arm, letting your heart and your collarbone and the front of your shoulder all soften. One more big breath in. Let something go as you exhale. And then come back to the center. Tuck your right knee in two. Give yourself a little squeeze. And then you're going to roll over and come into table pose. So you're going to bring yourself up onto your hands and knees. You're going to take the right foot forward. You're going to bring it up there by your right hand. And then you're going to push down into the right foot so your hip pulls back and your right arm lifts up and you come into a twist. And I want you to reach from your heart into both of your hands. So really expanding that chest space. Reach the ears away from your tailbone. Pull the tailbone back towards your back foot. Big breath in. Big breath out. And then you're going to release the right hand down. Start to pull the right leg back. We're just going to switch sides. Just one twist on each direction. Taking your left foot forward. And then I say push down to the foot because it's going to help to tuck this thigh in and keep you squared. And then as the left arm comes up in the air, it doesn't matter how high the hand is, can you open the heart out into both of those hands? Soften your belly. Big breath in. Big breath out. One more breath. And then relax down. Slide your left leg back. And take your hands, shake your fingertips out, flip water off of them. And do the same thing to the other side. Making sure that your fingertips are warm and ready. Press down from your heart into your hands. So we're using that strong heart space. And you're going to curl your toes, lift your hips up in a downward dog. You can leave very bent knees here if that's feeling better to you. Way to soften your inner shoulders if you can and push from the outer armpit into your hands, just like when we were reaching from the heart up to the hands when we were seated earlier. Take a big breath in. Relax your head and your heels. And then bring your feet towards your hands and your hands towards your feet, coming into a fold. Bend your knees as much as you need. Relax the back of your legs. Relax the back of your head. Maybe your hands are up much higher. One more exhale. And then start to lift yourself up. Take a little side bend. Just bringing your feet in close to each other. Reach your arms up, interlace your fingers. Lift the fronts of your hips up so your hips go slightly forward. And then get even taller. Reach the heart up to your fingertips and side bend up and over towards the right side. So you might soften your belly here. Relaxing the inner shoulders if you can to open more on that left side. Finish your breath out. And then lifting yourself up. Relax those inner shoulders, reach the heart up to your hands, and side bend up and over towards the left side. And you're expanding more along that right side, always reaching outwards, lifting up the fronts of those hips. One more breath out. And then coming up, resting your hands back down. We're going to move into warrior one. Taking your right foot forward, your left leg back. Reach your arms up. See if you can feel the heart lifting up towards those fingertips. So really lengthening that low back space. And then changing the arms by pulling the elbows out to the sides, but still keeping a little lift in your low back space. I often think of leaning the heart slightly forward here too, just to give that low back a little bit more room. Inhale, reach your arms up again, heart up to your fingertips. On your exhale, pull those elbows outwards towards the sides. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, elbows pull to the sides. Let's stay here for a moment. Maybe you let your hands release back. And then when you start to feel a lot of pressure, a lot of tension, a lot of opening here, can you relax and surrender into that opening? One more breath out. Inhale, reach those arms up again. Let's lean forward slightly, bring your hands to your heart. See if you can take one step up to standing, up to having both feet up. And then wiggle. And if you didn't quite make it, it's okay. It's just a little exercise here. And then the right leg coming back, left foot forward, reaching up into warrior one again. And so checking out those feet, front toes face forward, back toes are turned up slightly. You might take a little lean forward in the heart, just giving your lower back a little bit more room, but still reach from the heart up to those fingertips. On your exhale, pull those elbows out wide. Find something to relax in the heart. On your next breath in, reach the arms up again. Exhale, elbows pull out wide. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, elbows out wide. And then keep the elbows out wide. Try to relax the hands back. See if that does anything positive. If it feels terrible, just put your hands back up. Let the throat relax. Let the collarbones relax. On your next breath in, reach those arms back up. Stay nice and long as you bring your hands to your heart. Lean your heart forward. See if you can take one step up to standing. And then we'll bring the feet out pretty wide. Doesn't even have to be the very, very widest. If you want to have it in a little bit closer, if you'll feel a little bit more stable there, that's fine. Because we're going to take the hands behind the back. I do want you to try to hold hands behind your back, and it's fine if you leave your elbows bent and leave your hands right here at the small of your back. If you need to shift to holding onto your hips, do that instead. And try to pull those elbows back and then come forward into a fold. And you can even leave the hands on the lower back and pull the elbows back, trying to relax your head and neck. Maybe you do let the hands float up. You get to make the right choice for you. Maybe you try a different thing if that's not working for you. Try to relax your throat. See if that helps you relax the front of your heart. One more breath out. And then the hands will go to the hips, bend the knees, lift yourself all the way back up. And then we'll move into warrior two. So take the right toes over, turn the left toes in, and come out into warrior two. Inhale, feel your heart fill up. Exhale, relax it. Do that again. Inhale, fill the heart up, open it. Exhale, release it. Peaceful warrior. Turning the heart up towards the right hand. Keep that strong bend in the right leg. Lifting the heart up towards your arms. See if you can relax this inner shoulder. One more breath in. And then reaching forward. Nice long reach through to side angle. We'll take that arm down and this other arm up and over. Can you open your heart out towards that side space? And then also soften from the outside of that top shoulder. Ears away from the tailbone, tailbone away from the ears. One more exhale. And coming on up. Unwinding, straightening the leg, and then shifting over towards the other side. Bend down into that left leg, make sure that it tracks over the toes, reach the arms out, make sure that back leg is nice and strong. Inhale, feel that heart expand out to your fingertips. Exhale, find something to soften. Beautiful. Inhale. Soften something as you exhale. Peaceful warrior. Lift the heart right up towards your fingertips. Giving this offering, this lifting, this expanding, but can you still soften here to allow maybe this opens up a little bit more? Big breath in. Exhale, reach forward. Take a nice long exhale and a long reach as you bring your left elbow down towards your knee, and then the right arm comes up and over. And you want to expand on the side of the heart. Bring the bottom side of the heart forward. Soften the front of the heart right around that inner shoulder. Big breath in. One more breath out. Draw the belly in. Take yourself up. Good. Bring the toes in and the feet in. We're gonna take a tree pose and we're gonna bring a little side bend into the tree pose. So your modification, if you're feeling a little wonky, trying to have both arms up and side bend while in tree pose, which by the way is really hard and I fell over a couple times yesterday, it was really funny. You wanna have your bent leg be towards a wall or something you'll hold on to, and then you'll have the other arm up and over. So that's gonna be your modification, just knowing that you'll switch it that way. And your foot's going to be at your calf or at your thigh, and definitely not at your knee. So you're going to be like here. And you're going to either have your hand holding with the bent leg or both arms up. And then make steeple fingers, Vira Mudra. Lift up from your heart to your fingertips. Lift up the front of your hips, and we're going to side bend up and over towards that bent leg. Can you also relax the insides of your shoulders? And holy heck, that's so much more comfortable. Maybe you can even relax your throat so we can open that side heart. And then take it up, release, little wiggle. And then tree pose with that side bend on the other side. So you might adjust your positioning so you have the bent leg, or you can hold your hand out towards whatever it is you're holding on to. And the arms will come up and the fingers will interlace if you've got both arms up. And then you're gonna lift up from the backs of your ears too. And as you go up and over towards the side with the bent leg, you soften your inner shoulder and your throat. Reaching the heart up to your fingertips. A big breath in, big breath out. And then releasing the shape, coming down, moving out a little bit. We're gonna take a crescent lunge as our final pose. You can do this up here, having one knee up or having your back knee up. It's going to be harder to balance there. If your knee is feeling tender though, I want you to stay up here, not put that extra pressure, and just work with this space up like so. For those of us who can come down on the knee, I want you to go ahead and take 1 foot forward, 1 knee down. Maybe you take your hands down, lower that knee, and we'll be in this lunge. So take some time, adjust yourself however you should be. I'm trying to limit knee time and give some other options. So there's where we are. Now, if you do have that bottom knee down, I want you to try to bring your front foot forward a little bit more. Those of us who are on 2 feet, it's fine if they're a little bit closer together, if that's helping you feel a little bit more balanced. Those of us who are on the back knee, I want you to lean your hips forward. Everybody push down in your front foot. So the action in this crescent lunge is to follow the energy forward and then up. And then it continues to go back. So if you need to keep the same hand on that front thigh, you do that, and you just reach one arm up. It's going to give you a lot more support and balance. Maybe though both arms come up, you interlace your fingers, make Vira Mudra. So our hips are going forward, the front foot presses down, the heart moves up, and then the heart moves the hands up. Maybe the eyeballs start to tilt up. Okay, now that you're here, can you feel your heart filling up as you breathe in? Relax your throat and your inner shoulders as you breathe out. Try that just one more time. Big breath in, feel yourself up. Release something, maybe open more as you exhale. And then you're gonna relax your arms down. And we're just gonna switch sides. So nothing super fancy. You might slide the leg back and take the other one forward. You might just switch your feet if you're standing. And then you'll come up here. Notice my hips are in front of my back knee. So even if like you were here and you go here, that's still hips in front of your back knee. It's making that little extra shift. If you're on 2 feet, then you're just splitting them as far apart as is reasonable for you. We're all gonna push the front foot down. Feeling the hips move forward. The belly, the heart, maybe the same hand stays on the leg and you reach just one arm up or both arms up. So front foot pushes down, hips move forward, heart goes up, heart pushes the hands up, Inner shoulders and backs of the ears relax. Feel yourself expand on the inhale. Find something to relax as you exhale. Maybe you expand more. One more time, big breath in, expand. Exhale, find something to soften. And then we'll release the hands. And then everybody start to work your way back into puppy dog pose. So we'll all come down onto knees, hips above knees, walking the hands further forward. If you were on the knees for crescent pose and you're like, man, I thought that was all I have to do, you can lay flat on your belly. That would be a good alternative to this heart melting shape. So we call it puppy and we call it heart melting. Let's call it heart melting today because I want you to really try to relax your heart down towards the floor. Two more breaths. And then start to slide the hands back in. I'm going to come down to a seat. Sliding the legs out in front of you. Oh, good. So taking your right leg in, you can leave it on the same side of the leg, or you can cross it over your left leg. Lift your left toes. Take your right in nice and close. We're going to hug onto the side. Lift your heart up. Exhale, soften in your belly, expand the collarbones, twist out more towards the right. Two more breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Now release this twist. We're going to take this leg up and over. So back out to the open space, open the knee out. I'm going to wiggle this left leg forward a little bit. Slide the left arm down, take the right arm up and over. Releasing the outer shoulder out through those fingertips, softening the inner shoulder. Breathing out. And then come on up. And move into stargazer. So you're going to take the right hand back a bit. You can stay here with your hips on the ground and just reach up through this arm, kind of like you would in Peaceful Warrior. Or you can push up onto that shin, push the hips up, the heart up, and feel your heart rolling skyward. It's a lot of pushing the floor away and expanding out into space. Can you soften your throat when you get here? Soften your hips down. We'll come back to face towards the front. And then switch your legs. So slide the left leg in. Adjust the flesh here. So lift the right toes up. You might cross the left leg over. You might decide to skip that part. Left hand in nice and close. Hug into this thigh. Lift your heart. Lift the backs of your ears. Soften the belly as you twist. Relax on your exhales. From here, take one more full round of breath. And then you'll release that twist a little bit. We're going to unwind the left leg here. Might scooch that leg a little bit more forward if it helps you to open up towards this left side. And then the right arm comes down and then the left arm comes up and over. You want to release that back space. So I'm not crunching forward, but I'm letting this arm release outwards and then also softening the inner shoulders. One more breath in. One more breath out. And drawing the belly and lifting up. You can keep the hips on the ground or have that hand go back pretty far so you can roll up onto your shin, push the hips and the heart up into the air. Expand your body, expand your breath. Big inhale. And exhale, softening the hips back down. And then you'll come out to face forward. Extend the legs forward. We're going to lower down onto our backs for a moment. Maybe you challenge your core by drawing and rolling yourself down slowly, or just come and lay down. When you get there, reach your arms back behind you, your toes out in front of you. Take a full inhale. Let everything go as you exhale. Again, like that, big breath in. Let it go, breathe out. Then slide your feet in closer to you. Widen your feet out a little bit more than your hips, so maybe about that width apart. You can leave your arms out wide or hold on to your elbows. Let's flex the feet and take a thigh stretch with the knees going over towards the right and then reaching the left hip away from you. Can you soften your heart? So stretching the thigh, relaxing in the heart space. Two more breaths. And start to draw the knees up. Keep those toes flexed. Drop the knees over towards the left. Reach that right knee away from you. Soften those inner shoulders. One more round of breath. And then draw those knees back up. You're going to wiggle the feet in closer to your hips, so hip width apart, snuggled up closer, heels towards the hips. Take the arms down by your sides, snuggle the shoulders underneath the back. We've done some really good work to open up into a really big bridge pose here. So we'll do two of them, one to a little bit of a warm up, one to really go for it. Let's push into the feet, lift the hips up, keep pushing into all four corners, interlace the fingers if that works for you. And we're going to feel the heart lifting up, the feet pressing down. Can you relax your throat? Practice that relaxing the throat to maybe feel the heart lift up and open a little bit more. One more inhale. Exhale. And then relax those shoulders, the hands, releasing the hips down. Just give yourself a few beats to let your heart rate kind of soften a little bit. Heart openers can be really intense for our heart rate. They can feel like a little bit scary sometimes, like very intense, especially once we really start to release and expand here. So just give yourself grace for that. Yeah, it can be kind of wild. It's vulnerable to open up this space, but the work is worth doing. Let's get up there again. Press into your feet, lift your hips up, wiggle those arms underneath, hold hands. Strong feet, all four corners, knees reach forward. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, soften your throat. Ooh, two more breaths. Again. Releasing your heart and your arms and your hips down. As you exhale, wiggle your feet a little bit wider, further apart, let the knees back in. Take a hand to your belly and a hand to your heart. Take a moment to soak in these sensations. Feeling your heart rate slow back down if it was maybe a little bit more intense. And then bring your knees in towards your chest, cross your ankles, reach outside of your legs to hold on to your shins or your ankles, whatever is accessible, whatever feels best in your body. Rock around a little bit, relaxing the lower back. And then switch the cross of your ankles. Opening up the legs, we'll come into happy baby. Feet planted up at the ceiling, reaching up to hold onto your shins or your ankles or your feet. Giving your hips permission to relax instead of tucking in towards your body. Let them be heavy. Let them release. And start to release your feet. We'll set the feet back down. We're going to take reclined pigeon. If you're feeling like it's not so, if you feel like with the right ankle over the knee, holding on like this isn't feeling so great on your hips, instead try crossing your legs and just holding on to your knees. So that might be a little bit easier release into your hips at this point. So you're welcome to do this reclined cow face pose or reclined pigeon. You get to choose. You can even maybe try both real quick just to make sure you know which one is feeling the most yummy on your body right now. Hips are heavy in both circumstances, trying to soften the shoulders in both cases. Two more breaths. We'll release and unwind the legs from whatever winding they've been in. Wrap up the other way, other ankle on the knee or knees crossed, holding at shins. It's up to you. Whether you choose the open or the more closed version, different hips are going to respond differently. Pick the one that has the response you enjoy the most. Start to let yourself soften there. Two more breaths. And start to release and unwind whatever kind of winding you've had in your legs. You're going to take either one leg and open it up to release this inner thigh, or if it feels good, you can take both legs and open them up. So I'm taking the arms back here, lets the heart open and lift. You can feel very opening in this front space of the body. If you want to take just one knee open for a moment, I'll let you know when we're about halfway. You've got the one leg open, start to shift towards the other side. One more breath. Then bring the arms back down. Use your fingertips to close those knees up. Tuck the knees into your chest. And start to take a twist over towards the right, dropping both knees over. Every exhale, letting your left shoulder relax. One more round of breath. Start to roll your twist over into the other direction. Take a moment to set yourself up, adjust whatever needs some adjustment. Releasing your right shoulder, letting your breath soften, letting yourself fall into the earth. Big breath in. Let your exhale go. Again, breathe in. Release your exhale. And start to come back towards the center. Set the feet down. Take a moment to ask yourself to observe if there's anything else you need at the end of your practice. And whenever you have given yourself whatever you need, if there is anything, you'll start to work yourself towards Shavasana, whether you take it in corpse pose or legs bent, or you take a seated meditation instead. Bring yourself somewhere where you feel comfortable and supported and free to let go, free to surrender into this very well-deserved rest. Come back to your breath. Taking a bit deeper of an inhale next time, and then noticing the softening of the space when you exhale. Try that a few more times. Offering this surrender, this softening. Eventually rolling yourself over to your favorite side. Curling inwards in a moment of recognition and appreciation for your practice and this time that we can spend together. On your own time, working your way up towards a comfortable seat, your own comfortable seat. Hands drawn in at the heart lifted upwards towards the thumbs. We release the sound of Om to seal our practice. Take a big breath in. Ah. Bowing down to the love and light that resides in each of our hearts. Namaste. Thank you, everybody.